Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Tripawdcast. I am Vought Silver, and joining me we have Error and
Hi.
Yale.
Fuckle truckle.
All right, so this podcast is now a thing. Uh, I'm personally very excited to get this off the ground. We've been talking about it for quite some time, and now we're finally starting to move this idea forward, and we'll see where it goes from here.
Yes.
So, so we will have all of our social medias in the description or whatever. Uh, we all do uh, great artwork. I might start uploading some more content to YouTube, mainly speed paints, things of that nature. So, you guys want to explain some more stuff that you're all about, so that way we can get our audience to know us a little better.
Well, I run the channel Mr. Reset, which is basically a shitpost channel. It's mainly games. I plan to turn it into like a Smash channel, but for right now it's just shitpost. I draw sometimes, I don't really think much of it. But apparently people like it, so I do it.
All y'all got channels, man. I don't. I mean, I might start uploading speed paints because I know a lot of people want to know like the process of how I make my drawings because I draw a lot and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yes, she's actually really good.
Yeah, boy.
Yep, speed
Also,
paints. Oh, you got.
apologies if
Yeah,
I sound
I'll,
very nasally right now, because at the time of this recording I am very sick with the common cold.
All right. Well, um,
I still have strep throat.
yeah, everyone's a little sicker now. It's transitioning seasons, so. Um,
Dude, it's already winter for me. There's already snow
oh
in the
yeah, I
mountains. It's
forgot you
already
are in
cold.
Alaska.
Yeah.
I live down in North Dakota.
Yeah, I'm over here in Ohio in
Normies.
the Midwest. You never know what you're gonna get every season because
Normies.
some years around this time you never really know when the cold weather is coming. Thankfully, this morning it was like 54 degrees outside, so I am thankful because I am more of a cold person myself.
It
I
was in the
honestly
30s
don't
this
like
morning.
Jesus.
I honestly don't like the cold. I don't like snow. I don't like ice. I don't like anything about winter.
Then come up here during the winter, because if it's too hot down there, if it's too hot down there during the summer, it'll be like perfect up here because it's usually like 60 or 70 degrees
Mm,
on the rare occasions, 80.
I think the highest that we've ever gotten was -60.
sheesh.
The highest we ever gotten was around the 90s.
Yeah, I don't
Like
remember what our record high was, but
hundreds.
freaking.
Y'all are in hell. I can barely stand California.
Well, um, heat I find isn't so bad when if you go to like a desert area where that doesn't really have humidity. It's more like dry heat, kind of like Arizona
Yeah.
or anywhere in the Southwest.
Well, that's the thing. I can barely stand summer up here either.
Jeez. Well,
Somewhere down here, the highest we've ever had was like 110.
but yeah, for the most part, I enjoy um, the general area where I'm at, like the tri-state area. Uh,
I
Cincinnati's
stay.
just down the highway from my town. Uh, Things of that nature. And there's never a shortage of things to do. unless you're looking for really exciting tourist attractions, you're probably not gonna find them here.
Same here, unless you're
Same.
like in nature or something. Because
Yeah,
that's the only best part about up here
Alaska
is in
is
nature.
beautiful.
Because yeah, the thing is, the people here are not fun whatsoever. Everyone's so boring.
Over
I
here,
would
if you
imagine.
like wheats, then you come down here to see all the wheats you want.
Yeah, the same here, but with corn. We're in like a very thick part of the corn belt. It's like um,
I'm in a tiny secluded town that's near the
We're like one of the biggest states for wheat.
mm,
one of the biggest states for oil. Yeah, no one comes up here.
They
Fuck
make
you
those
guys. You don't get any.
yeah, I
they
actually
make those
saw.
memes about America. Oh yeah, there and take over your country. Yet nobody comes up to Alaska to get the oil. It's
Yeah,
probably too cold for them because
Everybody's
of
a
pussies.
pussy.
I actually saw those. Or when
Okay.
went up there a couple summers ago, we saw the pipeline.
Yeah.
It's freaking
Fucking
crazy.
yeah. Like a lot of people come up here, but like they all go back to where they came from, and that's
Mm,
not a lie. No one likes it here for some fucking reason. It's so pretty. I guess it's just the
Sorry.
people.
well, then you have like during your winters and whatever, you don't really get sunlight for several months. That's probably a
I
factor.
mean, when you do, I mean, we actually do, but like, the thing is, when the sun is out during the winter, it's colder. It's way colder
Mm,
because.
well,
Science.
I guess we'll go away from our geographical locations for the time being. I think I was gonna say something about speed paints. So I actually used to do quite a few of them, but I don't know. Either I'm not editing them right, or I'm just not putting the right music over it. They just never sat well with me.
I have them in a playlist in case you ever unprivate them.
Well,
uh,
maybe one day we'll see.
okay, like all of my YouTube channel was just AIDS. It's just leukemia and AIDS had a baby. That's what my channel was.
What was your content?
Okay. Okay, so I used to animate. I was semi good at it, but like I did it I did it on my phone. I did it with my index finger, and it
Did you
was
use
not
Flip a
easy.
Clip?
You damn straight. Fucking oh the thing is I was going through my middle school edgy phase. So like
Are you aren't you aren't you still kind of going through that right now?
Hey, at least
Great days, my life.
I'm slightly less edgy. The only edginess I have now are my drawings and the I want to die. But to be honest, I'm not the only one. It's you guys
Yeah,
Help me.
I mean, everybody's a little edgy at some point.
You gotta be a little edgy sometimes.
Yeah, like rock, listening to rock music, because that's the
Dude,
best
Because I
kind.
don't like
metal is my
people.
life.
Metal,
I don't.
yes.
Yeah, I don't like people that are too.
Metal is the best kind of edgy.
Yes, I am a metalhead.
But
Freaking
I don't like people who are too happy because
yeah.
it just annoys the shit out of me.
I mean, you can't have. I mean, if there wasn't sadness, happiness would have no meaning, and vice versa.
True.
So, you know, you can't really have too much of one, or I don't think you can really call yourself happy or sad at that point.
Well, when someone's
Nice.
like happy 24/7, I just kind of want to punch them.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
because
it gets annoying, and then you grow envious and just bitch out.
hmm like I don't know, it's probably something many people, especially our generation, could work on is like uh, making the
I
most
like.
out of your situation. Because I feel like many people nowadays just feel like they got screwed over by society or their circumstances.
You
We
know,
live in a
you know,
society.
we were in science, we were talking about like starting school at a later time because we were watching a video about that and like they tried it in one of the schools in lower 48 and
Hmm.
like everything was so much better for that school. Their depression rate dropped. And I'm like,
Yeah,
why don't we do that? And like students, it got like 5 more hours of sleep when they normally do. And our school has been thinking about doing that, and I'm like, yay! I
yeah.
want that to happen.
I feel like school is definitely going to improve some for our future generations, but like the biggest problem I have with the U.S. education system is just how stagnant it is. It doesn't like to change at all.
Except for like elementary school. Remember the math I showed you?
Yeah, they when they do change things, they make completely pointless changes that don't fix the problems.
Don't fix what's not broken. And the thing is, it's not just the school system, it's also just the government in general. They don't like
Yeah,
change.
because I mean,
Yeah, they're
They're grumpy old men.
they're grumpy old
yeah,
men that like
I
are
feel like
still stuck in the fucking 70s.
once we got newer people to or younger people who kind of really understand um, people our age, then we'll probably start seeing more things move forward.
But for now, we got,
Yeah,
hi, I'm Arjit
I
Pai,
was.
and I kill the internet.
Freaking
Thousand.
oh god, let let's not.
I'm sorry.
Anyway, let's try and get to more furry topics.
Okay.
One question
Okay.
you were wondering is like, how did you get into the fandom? What made you think about your Sona? What made you think their name, etc., etc.
Oh.
Well, I guess I'll start out. Well, I guess kind of always, or I got into the fandom mostly because um, I always had a I don't know, like an attraction towards anthropomorphic characters or whatever. I just found them interesting. Um, and then I never really had the idea to create my own. I just kind of enjoyed the media that they were already in. And then I discovered, once I was a little bit more capable of navigating the internet, I kind of discovered this community, and I was like, whoa, these people create these kinds of characters that I like, and there's tons of people who do this, and I'm like, and that is pretty much what sold me. Um, it wasn't until like 2016 until I really started to get engaged in the fandom, and when I created what would be known today as VOTS. Um, so the first character I ever created was meant to be called Stargazer, and it was going to be a jackal. And I was going to have like this super complicated pattern on him. Um, but I kind of scrapped that eventually. So then I made a Silver Fox character, and he looked pretty cool because I used my favorite color combination, orange and black. And I was looking up names for him, and I really liked the simplicity of Latin words. So I picked the Latin word votum, or which means to be to like or pledge something to like a deity or whatever. Because I figured I would make my friendship and my friendliness side the one of the main traits of this character, because everybody's Sona is supposed to reflect at least one major component of their personality. Um, so time went on. I eventually it's kind of like, I don't see my once I began to learn more about myself, because in high school that's the time you do those things. I was like, I don't see my personality fitting as a fox, so I looked through every canine um, species that exists or has been like recorded, and I found this really cool one called the Eastern Coyote or the Coy Wolf. Uh, if you don't know what those are, they're basically coyotes which have larger jaws. They're taller. They have bushier tails. Um, they got all these attributes from wolf genes. They're actually like a recently emerged species. I think they were first discovered like 200 years ago, something like that. This was like or their emergence was like a result of um, settlers before America was even founded. We drove the population of the wolves that used to live on the East Coast. We drove them westward, and then coyotes were migrating east at the same time, and then they kind of met. So wolves, with the drive of survival, of course, and they saw their natural enemy, the coyote, as a potential mate, and then that's pretty much what it is resulted in today's eastern coyote. They have their own unique howls. They're very good in blending in like urban areas or populated areas with humans. They're very good at hiding in plain sight. They aren't as disturbed by loud noises such as like heavy traffic, so they can live near highways, things like that. And they also act like raccoons in that they rummage through humans like areas for food if they can't catch any prey, things of that nature. There's a whole documentary on YouTube by PBS about them if you want to look them up. Yep. So um, after that, I went through about 20 different redesigns. I'm a very indecisive person when it comes to aesthetics. So one day, it all just clicked. Um, I was, messing around with like one of those character generator things, and then I plopped a mohawk onto the character. I was like, that fits. That is just something that I will keep, because, well, when I was growing up, those when you're like a kid, you want things that are completely unreasonable and you don't realize they would look stupid on you. Um, I wanted a hawk myself, and my mom would never let me have one, so I was like, you know what? It's my character. I'll just give myself one. So that's that design choice. And then my character's markings are very angular, things like that. It's because I like that very sharp design aesthetic. So yeah, that's basically how I got my character, how I got involved in the fandom,
Would
things
you
like
like to go
that.
next, Eric?
What now?
I was asking her if she allowed to go next.
What?
How did you get into the fandom? How did you make your character? Blah blah blah.
Oh yeah. Okay, so like my my design and like coming up with error is not complex whatsoever. Cuz you see, when I first started drawing, I drew a lot of like feral things, like animals. And I I really like drawing dogs, and like I even then I made characters just left and right. The first one ever being Error, but like I never drew her that often or even used her for anything. So so like how I came up with her name, I don't remember. I actually don't remember. The story I mostly use is a crashed computer
Hmm.
because it just seems to make sense in a way. But I really don't remember how I got her name or it. We'll just say it for now. I don't know what it is. So designing her, I she was first like one of those, like how you see a lot of artists draw like when they don't know what to draw, they just draw like that. Oh, what is it called? Like the white red-eyed freaking dog, deer, whatever.
Hmm. Oh, like
Like
albino.
feel like
Yeah.
yeah, I was albino. They just draw like something albino and people because other people that don't do art, they're like, oh, that's nice. But other artists, they just know. They know. They know what's happening. But like that's what error was at first, and then like I'm gonna be completely honest with you. After like Five Nights at Freddy's came out, I think it was the second one
uh,
or third. I
God.
got the idea of like, hey, what if I make her a robot? So for a while she was a fucking robot, and uh, her color palette was like Christmas. she was red
Full.
and green. It
She was
was
also
so
tall.
bad. Yeah, it was so bad. It was terrible. But like I was one of those people that thought, hey, these are good, these neon colors. Because
And I
I
think
was
at
an
one,
actual child when I made her.
and I think afterwards you made her hair like Colgate toothpaste.
I did! Her hair was
Yeah.
Colgate.
But that's like every Sona's hairstyle, though.
I know. Um, then, I, uh, then after a while, her color palette changed to like this greenish blue, and then like it's still red. And I've made her robot parts look a bit more complex, and that's what I'm actually working on now.
Hmm.
There's that. Then after a while, I'm like, you know what? Let's just make this a cyborg. 'Cause why the fuck not? Because I have no real reason for doing anything other than having a bunch of ideas.
Shh. Almost dropped my sucker.
Shit. uh, and then I'm thinking about changing her palette again because I want to make her red eye yellow. That just
Huh.
looks good with me.
Hey, no bias, but yellow eyes look good.
Yeah, they do.
That's
The thing
definitely
is, she has
bias.
she's an edgy bot. She has different colored eyes. The best part about my name is calling me Thoughtbot because I love that nickname.
Thoughtbot.
Thoughtbot. Hell yeah. I mean,
It's
Be
spelt
gone.
THOUGHT, as in your thoughts, not the other one.
I
yep.
think she means the other one.
Thought
Yeah,
what?
I was joking, but
I know.
The thing
Now
is,
I'm
I
just thinking
actually,
like, you know the
I
thinking
just,
emoji meme? Now I'm just thinking about that.
oh yeah.
and
In editing, I'll just slap my think on
oh,
there.
I'm
Like,
gonna make one
right.
of my characters.
Oh yeah. Speaking of think, if you guys need stickers for Telegram, hit me up on For Affinity. I will make you some stickers if you pay up.
Dude, I still
Shameless
need to
plug.
open up commissions. You know, I
Oh,
don't know what to
is it?
make my commission prices as. I want to start out small because like it it's like I just want to start out small because like as soon as I get like popularity, then like I'll start raising prices.
Well,
Like with your scale, I think like $5 or $6.
just price it
Yeah,
at
I
what
mean
you
it
think
depends.
is worth for your time. Is what I find.
Mm,
If anybody out there is aspiring to, make some money off your artwork, don't, you know, price it based off how good you think it looks, or price it based off how much time you put into each piece and what you feel like that time is worth.
Yeah,
Don't
remember
settle for anything
Sky?
less. Yeah.
Uh, with Sky, she used like this timer that helped price it. That could help.
oh yeah, should give them the link to that in the description.
Yeah. And I guess I'll go next with the
Alrighty.
Persona thing. For me,
All right.
I kind of got into the fandom very late into it. I like it's been 3 or 2 years now. I can't really remember.
Yeah, so
I
you've
didn't have
been
a
around as
Persona.
about as long as I have.
Didn't really have a Sona at the time. I was just like, hey, I'm a furry, haha. But I was like, but
That was
as
me.
I was just being a dumbass and asked, hey, do I have to have a Sona to be a real furry? They just responded with yes. And I decided, hey, let's make it a goat. Originally, it was gonna be male, but that didn't look right to me. Didn't identify with that, so I
Huh.
gave it titty. I made it a girl,
Kitty,
and that just kind of it was like,
kitty,
yeah, that fits me.
Hmm.
Originally, it looked like it had the TF2 cosmetics, the team captain and shit. But then I
oof.
made her more
Okay.
into her own identity, and she had a red shirt with an equal sign, and she was
Hmm.
a generic white
Waldo.
goat with a braid. And she was mainly, I'm gonna admit, I was like one of those Sans fangirls.
Oh no.
And that's what mainly she was used for. It was also
Go,
Undyne.
mom.
It was also Undyne. And I decided, hey, screw that shit. And she evolved more into more so her own character rather than just something for Sans fangirling. I gave her like a red, white, and blue sweater. It wasn't like America, it was just
Waldo.
stripes. And when I showed it to my friends, they were like, Waldo, Waldo. And I just kind of stuck with
Oh
that.
my god. Everybody
And
asks where's
Waldo.
Waldo, but not how's Waldo.
Oh my god.
and
Shoot self.
when and then the current design, the one with longer hair instead of an actual braid, I gave her a dress, stockings, shoes, and she's also got a bow, which is inspired by Monica from Doki Doki.
Oh no.
I was like, hey, that looks nice. I'm just gonna slap it on this goat here,
Hmm.
and here we are today. And her name is Yale, last name Harad. The funny thing is, her last name is similar to an Olympian named Yale Arad.
Oh well.
and I had no idea who they were until I searched my character's name, and I just saw Yale Arad.
Oh, freaking E. Oh yeah. I never said how I
I
got into the fan.
so I just have her purple because I like purple. Okay,
Yes.
leave me alone.
Perfection. Uh, how I got into the fandom. Fucking edgy. Edgy furry animators. That's all you need to know. That is all you need to know.
Meme animations.
Meme animation.
Those things are AIDS.
I actually, they are AIDS. I mean, unless you find the right person, they're just AIDS.
Animation meme review.
Meme review.
Man, rest in peace to my boy Anthony Fantano on the with the
Goddamn.
needle drop. He made the best meme review.
But YouTube said fuck you, so now all he has to do is music.
Yeah, feels bad.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, by the way, if my mic's picking up too much shit, try to bear with me. Audio will improve as this stuff goes on.
Big as oof. Like, don't turn your mic sensitivities up so much. Okay?
Yeah, I've already said like.
Second question.
All right.
Oh, go ahead.
Huh.
The second question is, what is your opinion on fursuits, and do you plan on getting one? Let's start with the bots.
All right. Well, my opinion on them is I think they can be fun, but you don't wear them out in public. To like, absolutely anything is my kind of 2 cents on it. Because yeah, I get it. You want to wear that thing you spent all that money on, but try to keep it contained within things that are meant for the fandom.
Fucking closet furry.
Yeah,
But
I had to.
like, I mean, I can't control what you do, but
It would be convenient, you know?
yeah.
mm,
And then
For
you
both
don't want
you
like
and the public.
people's first impressions of our fandom just to be like, oh, well, that's fucking cringe. I'm not gonna do that. uh,
Yeah, always do something that makes it look good for the no.
I mean, if you want to like wear it out in a parade, I think that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine.
Or any kind of like costuming event. That's what it's for. Um,
Halloween.
dude, when I get my fursuit done, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna walk around.
The only person that scares me, and I'll probably shoot you. So watch out, bitch.
Well,
and now
I don't
the
see a
second
downside.
part: are you planning on getting one?
Well, I would like to, or right now I'm currently creating my own, just to kind of see what I can do with it. So far, I'm working on the head. Um, I don't know. I feel like I'm getting the shaping kind of right, but working on the specifics for the muzzle and the cheeks, that's kind of hard to shape when you're working with the kind of foam that I am. Um, but yeah, it's fun as long as you know what you're doing. Um,
Yeah.
there's plenty of tutorials out there if you're ever interested in trying it out. Just make sure you got something that will cut upholstery foam pretty well, whether it be scissors or a razor blade knife. Um, get your hot glue guns, your pins, so that way if you try to glue two things together, you just pin it, so you don't have to hold it down while the glue dries. Because I made that mistake the first time I tried to make a head, and I didn't have one of those low temperature hot glue guns, and the heat goes right through the upholstery foam, and I seared my flesh on my fingers a couple times. So that was fun. Uh,
Ouch.
Life is okay.
so, lesson: if you don't have your like a low heat hot glue gun, well, actually, regardless, um, push pins or pins used in sewing, those will be your best friend when you're working with a hot gluing upholstery foam together for anything, even if it's not a fursuit. Um, but back to your question, should or if I plan on getting one, I've actually been looking around at a lot of makers, and I'm kind of pinning down which ones make the best looking wolves or coyotes to me. Um,
Ooh.
so because it's supposed to, my Sona is a hybrid, so I kind of want to make one that makes it looks like a coyote or foremost, but it's gonna obviously be a tad different. Um, so I've come down to mischief makers. They kind of have that problem where most of the faces look the same.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, their suits are amazing. Otherwise, it's
I
not
plan to
always a
get
bad
mine
thing.
from plan to get mine from Sky High Studios, honestly.
Hmm.
But their site's currently being reworked, so
Okay. Um, I was looking at. I think it was called Lazy Lion Studios. It was one of the makers I was looking at. I don't remember their name exactly. On the off chance you're watching this, my apologies. Um, freaking, but yeah, their suits look pretty sweet and they're low cost. I'm pretty much going to go for one of the expensive makers if I do end up wanting to buy one. Thankfully, most of them kind of make it work like a like paying off furniture or a car or something, because you pay a minimum amount of money to start if you don't have everything to give them up front, and then over time you make small payments, and then eventually it'll all add up to the total cost of the suit, and then you know. But another tip, if anybody is planning to buy a fursuit, make sure you can live comfortably and afford one first before, because you don't need one. It's a luxury item. You don't need it to live, like food, water, a roof over your head. Uh, because I don't know how many people I've seen on Twitter, like after they go to a convention or pick up a fursuit, they're just like, "Oh, hey, could you guys please help donate to me here because I need to cover my rent this week."
that reminds me actually, there's one guy on Twitter who's just so pretentious about his fursuit. Sometimes he's like, a decent fursuit only it costs $5,000. A decent fursuit honestly could just cost a lot less. Like
It all depends
even
where you look.
yeah,
You can
but
find
still five.
decent suits for cheap. You just gotta look in the right spots.
Yeah, but he's like, he doesn't care. He just thinks, oh, it's gotta be 5,000.
Oh, so he's like there's only like a few makers that I can think of that charge that much, like Autumn Fallings. Um, well, I don't. I'm confused. I always get confused. Didn't Phoenix Nest turn into Autumn Fallings, or what's up with that?
Not sure.
Because I know they're pretty much the same maker, but um, one of them turned into the other. Actually, I'm not sure if they are 5,000 or 3,000 for those. But yeah, I can understand some people not wanting to get them. They're they take up their space. They can be pretty pricey at times. Um, they're not always comfortable to wear. Um, Visibility is almost always poor. But you know, I find cosplay in itself fun, so I that's why I want one to be able to like act out a character or uh, something that's more than yourself is what I find appealing about it.
Alright, Ira, your turn. What's your opinion on first?
No offense to any fursuit makers, you're amazing at what you do, but I fucking hate them. You, they terrify me. It's the head mostly. Okay, so I have anatomophobia. Now I know it's the amount of like how the face has no emotion, and you know the ones that have the eyes that move. That scares me the most. They follow you
Oh yeah, the follow me eyes.
everywhere. Dude, I just uh, if you come anywhere near me with a fursuit, it, I'll have a gun or some kind of weapon, so stay the fuck away from me.
And this,
Please.
I don't think I need to ask you the second question.
What was the second question again?
Would you ever
No, I'm
want
not.
one?
No, if someone sent one to me, I would burn it. I don't care how much money you spent on it. I would burn it.
Oh,
Get a
God.
flamethrower. No.
Oh, time to answer my own question. Yes, I actually really like them. I would love to. I have like paws right now, and I plan on getting a box for my second character, Marissa, that has an uwu face on it. You ever see the
Woo
uwu
box.
edits for Resonance, the vaporwave thing?
Oh
That's
yeah.
where she
Woo
was
woo.
inspired from.
Woo woo
And
box.
I plan on getting a box sort of like that. And
Hmm.
I also plan on getting ears and a tail. I already got the paws and hoodie. And
Nice.
and as for my main one, I do plan getting a suit of that one.
Hmm.
No matter what anyone says, including you, Air.
Shut the fuck up.
Well, I guess we know who isn't going to show up to our outings to conventions.
Dear God. Count me out. If you somehow force me to go, I'm taking a gun with me. I don't care.
We'll protect
Jesus.
you, don't worry.
Yeah, it's a
Daddy boss, protect me.
You
I don't,
got daddy
yeah,
box and mommy.
that's
The
it's a
funny thing is,
nickname they've got for me, so don't worry about it.
I also get
Mom,
called mommy, so
mom,
please
mom and
no.
dad are in the call. My parents are in the call.
I have at least like three other people that call me that.
Yeah, I've got pretty much the entire
Feel pain.
server from is
Feel
calling
pain.
me that, and it's like
His life is pain.
Yep.
Because I don't know which way they mean it, and it concerns me.
You know what, bots? You want to know the answer to that? Yes.
Yes.
For me, it's
Yes, very that cleared it up. Thanks.
for me. I clearly know that I clearly know that they mean parental figure.
Uh-huh.
For
It's
bots, it's
obvious.
parental figure and daddy.
Because two other people
And
have clearly said, "Mom." Just call me mom instead of my actual name.
you should see like, oh god, that's disturbing. Oh!
Oh.
Oh, oh yeah,
Uh,
air screens a lot. Just to warn you.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be drawing like during every single thing we do. So like
Yep.
when I make a mistake, I'm probably gonna ear rape you.
So headphone warning.
Have fun
I mean,
warning.
our audience is probably going to be very niche and limited as it is starting out, but
I
you
will
know,
probably play Left 4 Dead.
oh god,
Oh god, when she plays Left 4 Dead, she's gonna scream like every 10 seconds.
Dude, fucking, I don't know. I scream on instinct, even when playing horror games. You should Oh, okay. So I was playing Outlast with my brother once, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Oh my god! I screamed bloody murder. I kid you not.
Oh god,
No. Oh
understandable.
boy, I would love to hear how that sounds.
It's pretty. I wouldn't say like super scary game, but it more like something I have
Just
like an issue with on like modern day horror stuff. It's just like, oh, we'll just
mm,
make things jump out of somewhere into the viewer or like the player or viewer's perspective to
Yeah,
get a nice little
like
cheap scare out of them. Like
yeah.
that's not really.
Ever since Five Nights at Freddy's, they just decided,
you can make
hey, let's.
anything and get the biggest scare out of me.
The most recent incarnation of that is Baldi.
It's not like so much genuine fear as it is surprise.
For me, it's
Because
both.
like when you're actually afraid, you're always like worried about where it could be. Is it following you? Things that like play on your subconscious.
My
Um,
subconscious is LSD.
Atmospheric horror is the best because like if you can read, like a story or something, and then like especially if it's supposed to be like a scary story or whatever, and it follows you like even after you're done with it, then that, in my opinion, is a good horror story. It's effective at scaring you, not,
Yeah.
oh man, that sure was sudden.
It's mainly just the fact that people think it's scary is mainly the Let's Players.
Yeah.
Oh my god, my name's PewDiePie and I'm gonna scream as an acting so I can get 50 million subscribers.
Man,
PewDiePie time.
I remember when I was like in middle school and PewDiePie just became like really popular. I enjoyed his
Wow.
amnesia videos, if that tells you how long ago that was.
Oh
Um,
boy.
Bots, you're an old man.
Dude, I'm gonna be retro here in like November, so
I also remember that, so shut up, Aaron.
No, fight me.
I will
Now it's
never
like
fight.
now it's just Fortnite default dance.
yeah, and that's pretty much what YouTube gaming has boiled down to. Hey guys, we're gonna play
Hey,
the same RNG controlled game of Fortnite.
cease your cancer.
That.
Man, I hope I get decent weapons to shoot the other guys when I land.
Oh crap, RNG
Oh my
screwed me
god.
over. This game is so good.
Okay. I'm gonna just say it now. Fortnite, it's not a bad game, but it gets boring after a while.
It's super
Yeah,
repetitive.
there's
It
nothing
is.
wrong with the
It is.
gameplay itself. It's just it gets old.
And just
It'll die soon.
and the kids that
Everything
play it.
does. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think the internet
Fortnite song.
at large is what kills it.
Have you ever seen like that Twitter video where someone just says, "Do you guys like Fortnite?" and then a bunch of kids come doing different Fortnite dances?
Oh
Dude,
no.
you should see how bad my middle school is.
People don't even pay attention to the gameplay of Fortnite. They just pay attention to the dances
And
Jeez.
skins.
and the
You
fact
know,
that
I
the
feel bad for my brother because he's sucked into the Fortnite universe.
man, guys,
He,
this is epic. Let's do the Orange Justice dance.
oh
God.
my god.
I you know, the only thing I'm gonna miss about Fortnite when it's gone are the memes. And that's about it.
True.
Let's
True.
order the Fortnite burger.
Dude, Fortnite Burger was a nice meme. One of the very few that this year has harbored.
Speaking of which, speaking of memes, of the current memes like the Super Crown, the Moth, the Bongo Cat, which are your preferred ones?
Well, now
Moth
the
describes me
crown is
internally.
just. Eh, I don't know. I
Mm.
mean, if you like it, then you do. But like, I don't really care for it. Um, then you got the moth meme. I
The
think a
moth
couple of them are all right, but it's not like
moth describes me internally. Like
um,
What am I missing?
uh, um, we're currently
Hello.
shooting our first episode. Um, yeah, um,
That was our guest that
yeah,
will come in the next episode.
yep. He'll be he'll be in next week's episode. So, but we're recording this on the same day, so
Yeah.
uh, I don't think any. I probably should have added him when we recorded, but oh well. Lessons learned.
lessons learned.
So
But that was a great
I feel
interruption.
stupid.
that was actually that'll be that'll be a good moment to look back on.
Dude.
And he was like,
Hey,
"Could
but
you imagine we were this unprofessional?"
Oh my god.
when okay, Vought, in post editing, could you just like edit Shard in the corner?
Okay.
Fuck. I still need to finish that.
Oh yeah. Speaking of editing and stuff, I know we're supposed to use this time to talk about topics or whatever, but since we kind of discussed getting this thing off the ground, I was thinking figuring out a way when in editing if I could get like a way to imply which character is speaking, like a highlight border or something like that.
Mm.
I don't know.
Hmm.
That'll probably be something that'll have to come later
Maybe.
because I have no clue how to do that
Because
as of now.
okay, because we're gonna be like doing hour and a half, 2 hour fucking episodes, lots.
Yeah,
That's a lot of editing.
yeah. Freaking, I don't know. Just an idea, but yeah,
So,
that's a leave it or put that as your inclination to check out our next upload because that dude who just hopped in here real quick is gonna be on board next time,
Yes.
and he's
alright,
got
We
some
will
good stories to tell.
should we wrap it up here?
Um,
we will have
we can do like maybe 3 or 4 more minutes, something like that. We'll just end it at an hour.
So, back to the topic at hand. What do you think about, like, Bongo Cat then?
I'm actually unfamiliar with that one.
What about you, Air? What's it out of the three big ones? What do you the Super Crown, the Bongo Cat? What do you think about each of them?
Y'all
Error.
describe me internally.
What about the Super Crown and Bongo Cat?
The super crown is retarded. Uh, Bongo cat is just bongo cat. You know, they are what they are, which is probably AIDS. You know, or some kind of fucking type of cancer. And that's every meme, no
At this
matter what
point,
it is. At this
For
point,
me,
yes.
for me, I'm not really big a fan of the Moth or the Super Crown. The Super Crown more so because it's just basically become the new Ugandan Knuckles.
hmm
Oh God, don't speak of that.
Just about, and they
It's,
the
no.
funny fact is they even used Ugandan Knuckles in said meme.
Ah!
well,
Do
It's
you
retarded.
when it was new, who didn't use that meme? Unironically,
It was
I
super
didn't.
overused over just like the course of 2 days, though.
right?
I
And
don't
this same thing
really.
happened.
I guess
I
it
don't
was one of
really.
those you have to be there or you had to be there kind of memes. Because that was when like
Yes.
VR chat was like brand new and it was the thing of the time. Actually, speaking of, is that even still around?
I think it is
I
still
have
around.
no
I have a
idea.
friend who like does crusades in VR chat.
Jesus
Oh god.
Christ.
As for Bongo Cats, I quite like it because of how creative people have gotten with it, using different
Gay.
instruments, different cats, even reversing the cat and bongos for the bongos playing the cat.
Homosexual.
Hmm.
So my favorite memes of these year is like steamed hams and Bongo Cat.
Yeah, steamed
Damn.
hams has been pretty good. Was that actually a year or a meme from this year?
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
It was
I'd have
like
to say that's a top
I think it was
five.
May or June.
But yeah,
Oh, look, there's the Aurora Borealis of our escape.
Aurora Borealis. Dude, I love Northern Lights. I I I rarely get to see them.
I didn't get to
It's
see
so
them
sad.
myself, but my siblings did. And they've got like time lapses of them and stuff. It's pretty cool
Dude,
looking.
they must be in good parts, cause like,
Yeah, they were North
uh,
Pole.
yeah, I want to go like
Actually, fun fact: Bob Ross
actively.
used to live there.
Hmm.
Oh whoa.
What's
If you
this?
ever hear him talking about North Pole, Alaska,
I'm
that's where my siblings used to live.
dude. Bob Ross, good man.
Yep.
What was I gonna say? I'm so stupid.
I don't know.
We have
You're
no
speaking
we
about
have
the
no
Aurora.
mistakes. Only happy accidents. like me.
Oof.
You deserve to die so soon.
All right. Well, we've run out of
Mm,
time, so thank you for listening.
cucks.
As always, be sure to check out our social medias if you want to be a guest on a future recording of this podcast. You can hit us up on our Twitter handles or whatever method you deem necessary. So,
Mm.
this has been the Tripawdcast, and now we're signing off.